The night Harper Lane saw the family photo without her, something inside her went cold. She stood in the hallway, listening to their laughter echo from the living room. No one had bothered to invite her, even though she was home the whole time. The photo glowed on her screen, every smile sharp like a blade pressed to her chest. Harper realized this wasn't a mistake or oversight, but a message carved in silence. She had always been the extra piece, the placeholder, the wallet they depended on. But that night, staring at her absence framed in perfect lighting, she felt a shift. It was small at first, a quiet snap somewhere deep, like a thread breaking loose. Years of favors, payments, and forced gratitude piled behind that single moment. And beneath the hurt, beneath the shock, something steadier began to rise. A slow, deliberate resolve she had never let herself feel until now. Harper arrived at the restaurant a few minutes late, expecting a simple birthday dinner. Her mother waved her over with a bright smile that felt strangely rehearsed. Beau, her stepfather, barely looked up from the menu as she took her seat. Madison scrolled on her phone, tapping with the impatience of someone forced to attend. The waiter handed out menus, and everyone ordered the most expensive dishes available. No one asked Harper what she wanted, or whether she felt comfortable with the choice. The conversation flowed without her, circling around work gossip and vacation plans. Harper tried to join in, but each attempt was clipped short by a dismissive comment. When dessert arrived, her mother raised a glass and said she was proud of Harper. The words felt hollow, like lines from a script written by someone who never met her. The check appeared at the table, placed directly in front of Harper without hesitation. No one even glanced at it. They simply kept talking as if the decision was obvious. Harper stared at the number, trying not to show how hard her stomach twisted. She reached for her wallet, and Beau let out a sharp laugh that made her flinch. He said tipping 20% was ridiculous, and only people with no sense did that. Harper reminded him gently that servers depended on tips to survive. Beau slammed his hand on the table, drawing startled looks from nearby diners. He called her ungrateful for questioning him and accused her of trying to embarrass him. Madison rolled her eyes and whispered that Harper always ruined everything. Her mother sat frozen, offering a weak smile as if pretending nothing happened. Harper signed the bill quietly, ignoring the burning pressure behind her eyes. When they walked to the parking lot, Beau kept muttering insults under his breath. He said she should be grateful he let her stay in the family after all these years. He said real daughters didn't act like she did, always needing attention. Harper felt each word like a bruise spreading deeper under her skin. She unlocked her car, but Beau stepped in front of the door with a sneer. He asked why she was so sensitive and why she couldn't take a simple comment. Harper told him she wasn't arguing, she just wanted to go home. Beau laughed again, louder this time, as if mocking her was a private sport. He said she would never fit in because she wasn't made of the same blood. Madison chimed in that Harper should stop being dramatic and learn her place. Harper quietly repeated that she only wanted to leave before things got worse. Her mother finally intervened, but only to ask Harper not to start anything tonight. The words sank like stones into Harper's chest, heavier than the insults themselves. She got into her car and closed the door, shutting out their voices. The silence inside felt sharp and accusing, like a truth she had ignored too long. She rested her forehead against the steering wheel and breathed in slowly. The image of the untouched cake, the forced toasts, the bill in her hand replayed. She realized this wasn't just a bad night, but the summary of her entire life. Driving away, she felt the first flicker of something unfamiliar rising inside her. It wasn't anger, not exactly, but a steady tightening of clarity. A sense that she had finally reached the edge of what she could tolerate. And once someone reached an edge, there was only one direction left to move. Harper woke the next morning with a dull heaviness in her chest. She tried to shake it off, telling herself the night before would eventually fade. But when she walked into the kitchen, The house felt strangely quiet and staged. Her mother and Madison were dressed nicely, hair done, makeup set, ready for something. Harper asked where they were going, and Madison smirked without looking up. She said they were heading out for a quick family photo at the park. Harper waited for the usual follow-up question, the invitation that never really meant much. But it didn't come, and the silence stretched in a way that felt intentional. Harper asked if she needed to get ready, hoping she had misunderstood. Madison laughed under her breath and said the photos were just for the family. The emphasis hit Harper like a slap, sharp, deliberate, undeniable. Her mother avoided eye contact, adjusting a button on her blouse. She mumbled something about the photographer having limited time. Harper stood there frozen, feeling the familiar sting of being quietly excluded. Beau walked in and brushed past her, as if she were part of the furniture. He said they needed to leave soon, because the light was perfect for pictures. Harper asked again, softer this time, why she wasn't included. Beau shrugged and said she didn't match the family look they were going for. He said the photo was meant for the living room wall, and context mattered. Harper felt the room tilt, each word pushing her further out of place. Madison grabbed her purse and told Harper not to take everything so personally. She said the wedding planning was stressful enough without Harper adding drama. Harper stood by the doorway, watching them gather their things and move around her. They left without saying goodbye, the door shutting with a click that echoed far too loud. Harper sat at the table, staring at the empty chairs still warm from their presence. She opened her phone out of habit, and a notification popped up instantly. Madison had posted a story, a boomerang of their smiling faces in the car. The caption read, "Family Day," dotted with glittery hearts and a ring emoji. Harper felt something inside her quietly unravel, thread by thread. She closed the app and opened her banking folder instead, almost without thinking. Her fingers moved on their own, opening years of statements she had ignored until now. Every transfer she made for rent, utilities, vacations, gifts lined up in neat rows. The totals stared back at her, a number too large to feel real. $92,400, all drained into a family she never belonged to. Harper printed the records, each page sliding out like a tally of invisible wounds. She placed them carefully on the table, forming a stack that felt like truth made solid. A message pinged, breaking the silence with an unwelcome chirp. Madison sent a request, blunt and unapologetic, asking Harper to cover $17,000. It was for the engagement party, and she wrote it as if asking for sugar or salt. Harper stared at the message, her pulse settling into a calm she didn't recognize. The words didn't hurt this time. They clarified everything she had ignored. She typed nothing back, only set her phone face down on the table. Then she gathered the printed documents with steady hands, forming them into a folder. The house was still and bright around her, but something had shifted in the air. Harper felt a line draw itself cleanly through her life, dividing before and after. And for the first time, she knew exactly which side she wanted to stand on. Harper waited until the evening, when the house was quieter and shadows grew long. She knew confrontation was inevitable, and tonight she would face it head-on. Beau lounged in the living room, scrolling on his phone without a word. Her mother busied herself in the kitchen, pretending the clatter of dishes mattered. Madison sprawled on the sofa, earbuds in, eyes glued to her phone screen. Harper took a deep breath and stepped forward, folder in hand, her voice steady. She told them she wasn't a child, and she wouldn't pay for anything automatically. Beau snorted, saying she was being ridiculous and disrespectful. He said a daughter should be grateful, not questioning every demand. Harper looked at him evenly, repeating she wasn't treated like family. Madison rolled her eyes, muttering that Harper was always dramatic. Her mother faltered, unsure whether to intervene or stay silent. Harper said she had documented everything, payments, gifts, and favors over years. She listed the total quietly, but firmly, 9 figures adding up to $92,000. Beau's jaw tightened, but he waved it off, calling her obsessive. Harper reminded him that no one asked for the money. She reminded them how often they treated her as an outsider, a helper, a wallet. Madison glared and accused Harper of exaggerating, of turning small things into battles. Harper held her ground, her voice unwavering despite their attempts to guilt her. Her mother attempted to cry, pleading that Harper didn't understand the stress they faced. Harper nodded, acknowledging their emotions but refusing to back down. She told them she was tired of being taken for granted, of being used for convenience. Beau leaned forward, threatening that Harper would regret defiance. Harper ignored him, opening the folder and showing the exact figures from her accounts. She walked them through the money, each transaction a marker of years of exploitation. Madison gasped at a line item, trying to dismiss it as a mistake. Harper calmly corrected her, showing screenshots and receipts from the banks. Her mother's face fell and Beau clenched his fists, silent for once. Harper explained she had also reached out to a potential new employer in Denver. She said she had options and would no longer rely on their approval or assistance. The room shifted, the power dynamics finally beginning to tilt. Madison whispered that Harper was cold and unfeeling, but Harper kept her gaze firm. Her mother said she was disappointed, but Harper noted the lack of warmth behind it. Beau muttered about family loyalty, but Harper replied that loyalty is earned, not assumed. The tension thickened, each word weighed with a history of years of neglect. Harper placed the folder on the coffee table, signaling her final position. She would no longer pay or apologize automatically. She would choose her own path, document her choices, and protect herself. Beau and Madison tried to interrupt, but Harper continued with quiet authority. Her mother stayed silent, realizing she could not sway Harper tonight. Harper ended by stating she would handle her finances and future independently. The room fell into uneasy silence, each family member processing her resolve. Harper felt a small surge of relief, mixed with determination. For the first time, she had spoken truth without fear or compromise. She gathered herself and left the room, leaving them to grapple with their own reactions. Tonight marked the beginning of a shift she had long anticipated, but never acted on. And Harper knew, with clarity, that from this point forward, she controlled her own life. The next morning, Harper woke to her phone buzzing incessantly. Notifications piled up from social media, each one carrying new drama. Madison had posted a story crying, claiming Harper abandoned the family. Her mother shared a vague status about ungrateful children and broken bonds. Harper scrolled calmly, her finger hovering before she typed anything. She decided to respond with facts, not emotion, listing every dollar she had spent. $92,400, all documented with screenshots and receipts. The post went live, carefully worded, showing her history of support for the family. Comments started pouring in from relatives and friends, some supportive, some critical. Madison immediately called a family meeting, attempting to defend their honor. Her mother tried to mediate, but Harper stayed firm, refusing to apologize for the truth. Beau sat silently, eyes narrowed, realizing Harper would no longer play along. Harper showed up with the printed statements, placing them on the kitchen table. She walked through each expense, each transfer, and each favor she had quietly provided. Madison argued, claiming Harper exaggerated the amounts and made the family look bad. Harper calmly produced screenshots of messages and receipts to back every claim. Her mother shifted uncomfortably, seeing the evidence and realizing the reality of Harper's sacrifices. Beau tried to interrupt, raising his voice, but Harper continued without hesitation. She reminded them that gratitude was expected, not freely given, in their household. Madison posted another story, this time blaming Harper for creating online conflict. Harper ignored it and focused on consolidating her position with clarity and precision. She explained that she would no longer fund anything automatically, and all requests must be formal. Beau muttered about loyalty, but Harper countered that loyalty had limits when abused. Her mother whispered that Harper was being harsh, but Harper replied that fairness mattered more. Harper's evidence left no room for counterarguments, each point precise and verifiable. The family's meeting turned tense, everyone speaking over each other, but Harper stayed composed. She made it clear that she would document every transaction going forward. No more assumptions, no more silent sacrifices, no more exploitation. Madison attempted emotional manipulation, claiming Harper was cruel and uncaring. Harper stayed calm, pointing to the years of unpaid labor, favors, and money she had provided. Her mother looked down, realizing the imbalance they had maintained for years. Beau clenched his fists, but said nothing, acknowledging Harper's newfound authority. Harper ended the discussion by stating she had also secured a job offer in Denver. It was a step toward independence, a final separation from their toxic patterns. The family could no longer pressure her financially or emotionally. Harper locked the folder containing all receipts and evidence, a symbol of control. She blocked Madison from instant messaging channels related to money and contracts. She announced she would handle communication professionally, removing personal attacks. Her mother and Beau exchanged uneasy glances, the realization settling in. Harper had turned the tide, using evidence and calm authority instead of anger. Madison fumed, posting more stories, but Harper ignored each one strategically. By the end of the day, Harper felt the first real sense of power in her adult life. The online chaos continued, but Harper remained centered, guided by her plan. She knew the next steps would require patience and precision. Tonight, she would rest, knowing she had already shifted the family's power dynamics. Harper had become unmovable, a force grounded in truth, evidence, and careful strategy. The storm had begun, but she was no longer the one being battered by it. The following morning, Harper opened her email to a long list of demands from Madison. Madison requested that Harper pay all remaining deposits for the wedding immediately. She insisted Harper stand as the primary contact on every vendor contract. She added that Harper's credit card must cover any unexpected costs moving forward. Harper read the email slowly, a calm smile forming on her lips. She replied promptly, agreeing to follow the instructions, word for word. But she added a subtle adjustment. All contracts and agreements would be under her control. She clarified she had full authority to make changes, cancellations, or refunds at will. Madison responded instantly, anger dripping from every sentence in her reply. She demanded Harper reverse any changes and allow her access to the vendors. Harper ignored the tone, focusing instead on ensuring all correspondence was documented. She contacted each vendor, confirming her authority and nodding Madison's restricted access. Contracts were updated, her name officially listed as the sole responsible party. Any previous authorizations Madison had were nullified and logged in writing. Harper set up separate payment accounts to track deposits and refunds efficiently. She created a detailed spreadsheet, mapping out every transaction and deadline. Madison called repeatedly, leaving frantic messages that Harper didn't answer immediately. Harper knew reacting emotionally would undermine her position. She replied calmly, citing contract clauses and deadlines, keeping every message professional. Her mother tried intervening, asking Harper to just make it easy for everyone. Harper politely declined, explaining she was fulfilling Madison's requests exactly. Beau stopped calling but sent terse texts, questioning Harper's authority quietly. Harper documented those texts as well, filing them for potential future reference. Each step she took tightened her control over the event, limiting her family's influence. She knew every cancellation clause, every refund policy, and every vendor's preferred method. Madison attempted to bypass Harper by contacting vendors directly, but Harper blocked access. She replied to any inquiries with contract terms, keeping her control absolute. Her mother began to show frustration, realizing Harper was not intimidated. Beau tried once more to guilt her with vague threats, but Harper stayed composed. The balance of power had shifted entirely. Harper held all cards without overplaying them. Madison stormed into the office one afternoon, shouting demands, but Harper remained seated. She calmly reminded Madison that all contracts were signed legally under her name. Harper explained that vendors were instructed to communicate only through her. Madison waved her hands, frustrated that Harper followed the exact rules she had laid out. Harper didn't raise her voice or argue. She only reinforced boundaries. She processed payments, confirmed deposits, and double-checked all schedules meticulously. Harper also ensured each cancellation or modification option remained available to her. The family grew desperate, sending increasingly emotional messages, but Harper stayed professional. Her mother asked Harper why she wouldn't just forgive small mistakes, but Harper declined. Each move Harper made strengthened her authority and secured her independence. By the end of the week, every vendor recognized Harper as the decision-maker. Madison and Beau realized their previous leverage had completely vanished. Harper maintained calm control while they vented, never once losing clarity. She had followed instructions precisely, yet the outcome left her in full command. Every message, every contract, every payment now reinforced her power over the event. Harper smiled quietly, knowing the family's frustration was proof of her success. She had turned their demands into a tool that solidified her authority completely. Nothing could be done without her consent, and she held all options open. For the first time, Harper felt untouchable, prepared for the final moves to come. Harper spent the morning reviewing every contract and cancellation clause meticulously. She highlighted sections with potential refunds and penalties that favored her control. Every vendor email was saved, every phone call logged with timestamps. Her folder grew heavier with evidence, each page a small victory. She checked her bank accounts, confirming available funds for any emergencies. The Denver job offer sat unread on her desk, a promise of independence. Madison had sent frantic texts all morning, demanding immediate action. Harper ignored the panic, knowing patience was a powerful weapon. She double-checked deadlines, confirming which payments could be delayed strategically. Her mother called, asking why Harper wouldn't simplify things for the family. Harper replied calmly that she was honoring the requests exactly as made. Beau tried to intimidate her over the phone, but Harper remained composed. Every threat he made was noted, every word logged in her growing file. Harper drafted emails to each vendor, confirming her authority and upcoming changes. She included reminders of cancellation policies and possible refunds under her control. Madison sent a flurry of social media posts, accusing Harper of sabotaging the event. Harper did not respond publicly, keeping all interactions private and professional. She began mapping out potential scenarios where the family could lose money. Each calculation strengthened her sense of security and control. Harper arranged meetings with vendors, making clear she would oversee every detail. Contracts were verified, deposits confirmed, and contingency clauses reviewed. She marked which contracts could be modified without incurring fees. Her mother suggested compromises, but Harper insisted on following the plan. Madison called repeatedly, blocked once, then sent angry emails that Harper cataloged. Harper noted every emotional outburst, storing them as evidence of manipulation. She created a timeline for any necessary cancellations or refunds. Each step ensured Harper held the ultimate power over finances and decisions. Harper opened her Denver job offer, reviewing the start date and benefits carefully. It was the final piece of independence, a life outside their control. She checked her phone one last time before leaving the house, unread messages piling up. Harper locked the emails in her folder, a symbolic gesture of authority. Madison sent a desperate message, demanding access to vendor communications. Harper replied professionally, citing contract clauses and legal authority. Her mother attempted guilt, reminding Harper of family loyalty, but she stayed firm. Beau threatened legal action, but Harper calmly referenced her documentation. She double-checked all vendor communications, confirming no unauthorized access existed. Every deposit, refund, and contract modification was under her control. Harper knew the family's frustration would only grow as she remained unyielding. She reviewed her financial strategy for refunds, ensuring maximum leverage. The Denver job offered freedom, while control of the event ensured consequences for the family. Harper felt a quiet satisfaction in having anticipated every move they could make. Her mother and Madison could yell, threaten, or manipulate, but it would accomplish nothing. She made a final note in her folder, a checklist of every step completed. Harper had secured contracts, finances, evidence, and independence. The family could no longer influence her decisions or finances. She felt steady, powerful, and untouchable for the first time in years. Harper smiled, knowing the final phase of her plan was imminent. Everything was in place, and the family would soon face the results of their actions. For the first time, Harper was fully in control of her life and the unfolding drama. The morning of the event, Harper reviewed every detail one last time. She checked contracts, deposits, and vendor confirmations meticulously. Madison called repeatedly, panic rising with every unanswered ring. Harper remained calm, letting her authority speak through actions alone. Her mother texted, pleading for compromise, but Harper ignored the tone. Beau sent a terse message, questioning her judgment, but she documented it. Harper activated the final phase of her plan, using cancellation clauses strategically. Refunds were processed, deposits reassigned, and contracts adjusted under her control. Vendors confirmed Harper as the sole decision-maker, blocking any interference. Madison showed up at the venue, furious, but could not access any contracts. She screamed, threatened, and demanded control, but Harper stayed composed. Harper presented evidence of every payment she had made over the years. Her mother looked on, realizing the extent of Harper's preparation and control. Beau tried legal threats, but Harper calmly referenced her documentation and authority. The family could only watch as the event proceeded exactly according to Harper's terms. Harper checked her phone, seeing Denver's job offer finalized, her independence secured. No one could manipulate her, no one could demand more, and she held all leverage. She breathed deeply, knowing she had turned years of exploitation into absolute control. For the first time, Harper smiled freely, untouchable, powerful, and finally at peace.